Like that's how I operate. I'm listening. So I posted a video yesterday. We were talking about the moon and the NASA whistleblowers coming forward. I always wonder when things with me, if it's not in the news, and I always wonder why. Like, they'll put Edward Snowden, he's all over the news. They'll put, Manning and the CIA whistleblowers, and all these whistleblowers come out. But anytime a whistleblower doesn't make the mainstream, it makes me wonder, like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on? And so yesterday we were talking about some of the NASA whistleblowers, right? Because there were a lot of them. So if you think that it's just one guy, one gal that's coming out, there's a whole bunch of them, and there's a whole bunch of astronauts as well. Why do I think we probably need to spend more time focusing on what our NASA whistleblowers are saying? Is because it's not popular. And usually the things that are not popular are the things that are important. And I forgot about this brother. I got to tell you about this brother. His name is Ken Johnstone. Hold on, let me get a picture. So he actually was responsible. I believe it was in all the Apollo missions, all of them. He was responsible for all the data that came back, right? So he was the picture guy. When the pictures came back, he saw everything. He worked in goodness, I find him on, there's a Wikipedia site. This brother was responsible for everything. So when all the pictures came back, he saw them. And so this is when we talk about like qualifying the data you get and getting it from professionals, people who actually worked in the jobs, people who have evidence and they have things that can be looked into, right? There's a difference between looking at some Photoshop pictures of something on the internet or talking to a friend and talking to someone who worked in that discipline, who actually worked for NASA in that place, in that office, where you can actually determine if this person is lying or not. The interesting thing is they never said Ken was lying. Ken, all right, let me take you over here. So they never ever said he was lying. They never refuted him. He gave coordinates for the things that he saw on the moon that should not have been there. And so he actually saw the structures on the moon. He produced pictures of the structures on the moon. So he's a retired aerospace worker, ex-U.S. Marine candidate. He's a NASA whistleblower. His principal claim to fame is a NASA hating community, which is not true. We are not a NASA hating community. We're just a truth community. If anything, we are a NASA questioning community. We are a FBI questioning community. We're a CIA questioning. We are a Spence Knots question. If people come out who like they're human beings and they say y'all need to look out for this, then that's what's important that I think we have to look out for. And so he came forward with photo prints that they did not destroy. So when they fired a bunch of people, laid off from his lab, from the place he worked, he actually grabbed a couple pictures, right? You know how I love it was Neil deGrasse Tyson and Michio Kaku, what they like to say, theoretical physicists, they say, you know what, so if aliens are real, next time someone gets abducted, he said, you're laying on the table, whatever, and the alien gets to get another instrument. He said, grab a pager, grab a clock, grab just a little piece of alien technology and put it in your pocket. And it makes perfect sense. And it's funny, but it's true. Give us some evidence, because you have all these doubters who doubt what really is going on. Grab a piece of evidence. Well, this is a brother who grabbed a piece of evidence. So when they fired everybody in his office, the FBI came in and they grabbed all the photos, and supposedly they destroyed them. Ken stuck one in his pocket. I think it was an 8x10. He stuck some in his pocket. So hang on. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you the picture, and I'm gonna give you a little piece of interview of Ken Johnson. But he's important. He is a significant whistleblower, because he's not saying, hey, you know what? I seen some pictures. Y'all look at the pictures. No, he's saying, I seen some pictures. I stole one. I'm gonna show it to you. And not only that, but here are the coordinates for the crater that I saw it. So you can go take a better picture. It's not the crater. I don't think it's the crater behind me. So don't focus on that. There's one of his claims to fame is he agreed with what a lot of people heard the NASA astronauts say, the Apollo astronauts, when they were flying over the moon, that they saw structures, that they saw cities and buildings like people live there. Something I was thinking about this morning was, they quarantined the Apollo astronauts but they said that the Apollo astronaut was, I mean, the moon was just talcum powder. It's talcum powder and some rocks. Yeah, but, talcum powder is used for drying up biological things. There's nothing biological living in talcum powder. And so I find it interesting, and it's posing this massive lie that there's nothing on the moon, that it's just talcum powder, because they quarantined the astronauts when they came back because they didn't want them bringing back anything biological. So it's awesome BS. And I just, to summarize what we talked about yesterday, it was the point of all of these whistleblowers from NASA have come forward saying that they're lying about what's going on out there. And it if you're familiar with Zahi Hawass and Egypt and the pyramids and all the lies that are happening over there, I think that all of this fits in with the whole military industrial complex and them trying to get weapons. So Ken Johnstone has proven, let me show you the picture. He's proven that something has been on the moon. I think it was us. I think that we're just a species with amnesia. I agree with John Hancock that we're a species with amnesia, and there was a lot here before us that we don't know about. And I think that the military-industrial complex is just after that technology. I think that, what is the name of that group in Egypt? I forgot. They're an American group, and they pretty much drive what happens with Zahi Hawass and what comes out of the pyramids, who gets to know. People who live over there talk about, they hear all this construction happening in the pyramids at night. People who visit the pyramids, they see wires and all types of things that they are definitely digging, and they're trying to find things at Egyptian sites. But then you got the moon, right? If we went to the moon and you had a Brookings report which said that if you go to the moon, and we did, it said you cannot reveal any artifacts or anything to show if there ever was life or is life on the moon. And so that begun this truth embargo that stopped everyone who worked for NASA and the astronauts from talking about this. And some came out and did, and some didn't. So Ken Johnstone, that's who the brother is. He saw all the pictures. He trained most of the Apollo astronauts, and so he's a big deal. So let's listen to him for just a minute here. And like I said, I'm only going to be on here for just this a quick 40, 30 minute, 20 minutes. I don't know how long it's going to be. Damn it, but it's going to be quick. I have to talk with Sister Lonnie, and we're going to do an interview at 11. So, but I wanted to give a little piece of this. Listen to this interview.
Photographs. Were they sending back live video to you as well?
We had both. We had live telemetry, photographic feed coming back. But primarily, what I was interested in most were the Hasselblad cameras and the 16 millimeter sequence cameras.
Right.
There's quite a story behind Apollo 14 and what was discovered on the backside of the moon on the command module and the 16 millimeter sequence cameras.
Okay.
If I could go into that a little bit.
Well, let's do that now. The backside.
16 millimeter sequence Hasselblad cameras, not some damn Polaroid pictures that they always show us from the moon. We talked about that yesterday. Every time we go to send up a $500 million satellite, we always put a booty camera on it, a camera that just can't take a picture of nothing, and everything's always blurry. Well, this is what Ken is saying. He saw the pictures, and they edit the pictures before we get them, which is what Donna Hare was saying, and the other whistleblowers were saying. Sergeant, I forgot his name from yesterday, and he's saying the same damn thing, that they change the pictures before they give them to us. They take out the high detail, and they give us the blurry crap. So listen.
The moon is never seen by us folks here on the ground. Clementine, and I've forgotten the year now, but Clementine, the U.S. naval satellite that went up and literally mapped, I guess, the entire backside of the moon, and perhaps the entire moon, if I remember correctly. But anyway, Clementine did the whole thing, supposedly. Those pictures, all of them, have never been released to the public that I'm aware of. And it is said that the backside of the moon is a very interesting place. So tell us about Apollo 14.
All right. Apollo 14, as most people may recall, when we went to the moon, we had to separate the lunar module from the command module.
Sure.
The two astronauts that were to go on the lunar surface would descend in the lunar module and land on the surface and do their experiments down there. While they were on the surface, the command module pilot continued to go around and around and around the moon and had various experiments he had to do, as one of which was photographing the backside of the moon. Now, there was a director of the astronomy and department at the Manned Spacecraft Center at the time. It wasn't Johnson Space Center. Was Dr. Thornton Page, and very, very interesting gentleman. He contacted me and asked if I could get a hold of a specific reel of 16 millimeter film from the Apollo 14 mission.
All right. When was this? When was this, Ken? When did he ask you, approximately?
This was the astronauts. Let's see. This was Apollo 14, so we had stopped quarantining the astronauts. Mm-hmm. We had to quarantine Apollo 11.
I remember.
And Apollo 12 because there was concern about bringing back the
microbes,
contaminants.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it was right within a week after we returned on Apollo 14.
So it was right after that, and you got a request again for 16.
It's going a little slow. So, bottom line, I have to. I don't have a whole lot of time this morning. I gotta get ready. So listen, here's the bottom line. He said that he saw the pictures, he saw structures, he saw the domes in craters. The interesting thing is he actually said the exact coordinates for the domes. He named the domes. He said you can see that they were broken down structures, and when they released the pictures, they faded things out where they didn't release the pictures, and he saved the picture. So let's go over to the picture. He saved the picture. The FBI didn't get this one. And so this is what the scan he had that he showed. So I don't know if I can blow that up. I'll send you a link where it's right on the wiki page. It's that was a special wiki. I'll go back to it, but I'll post a link for it. So you could very clearly see in the scans that he took that there were structures on the moon. This is what all the other whistleblowers were talking about. This was the get abducted by aliens and grab a stopwatch and stick it in your pocket. That's what this was. And it's not only that, but he's doing it. He served in the capacity like Donna Hare, the other sergeant, the astronauts who say that you can actually see this. And so they can fly the LRO right over this crater and they can take a picture of the crater that he's talking about, where they saw all of these domes that all of these whistleblowers were talking about. Why is that important? It's important because if they are playing Zahi Hawass with the moon, if they got to the moon, in which I'm a believer and we went to the moon. Now, do I know we went when we say we went? I don't know. Do I know that? Yeah, I know that a lot of the pictures were fake because the flat earthers would show you the moon landing, fake people will show you that. They lied about a lot of the pictures, and perhaps they didn't lie about it, though. It's not because they didn't go to the moon. It's because when they got there, they found all of this stuff that all of these people are talking about. And if they did, who the hell are we? When did we go to the moon? How did we get there? And I think this plays into the whole military-industrial complex conversation. Not that the ancients had supercomputers, right? Not that they had everything that we have, but there was somebody here before us that had significantly enough technology to actually get there and do something. And so yesterday I posted a link for the remains, right? There were something that looks like remains that were found. This is the guy, Ken Johnstone is the gentleman who actually, he's the one who made Richard Hoagland go crazy. If you're not familiar with Richard Hoagland, oh, the brother sees pictures everywhere. Now he looks at pictures of the moon, he sees everything. Because originally Ken shared this with him and he flipped out. I mean, I think he even started an organization based on looking at moon pictures because it is a big lie. But it makes sense from a national security perspective, it does make sense. From a truth and honesty and like trying to keep human beings evolving, discovering who we were in the past, what mistakes we made, how we ended up where we are. Those are things that have to be known. If you get to the moon and you realize somebody else got here and it's based on a whole different set of technology, maybe it's not based on solid booster rockets, it's not based on petroleum explosions, but it's more based on, I don't know, vibrations, V-manas, something something that we never even talked about in the past. Perhaps the Earth, maybe the spiritual folks are right. Perhaps the Earth was in a different section of the Milky Way galaxy back then, and physics were slightly different. Maybe there were different compounds on the Earth at the time. Maybe an asteroid hit and they discovered that, I forgot the name of that element 17, 24, 32. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, the element that Lear talked about. Lear talked about that element, and he said this is the element, you know, that the UFOs crash. We got the element 13 or something. I forgot. I had to post it. And he said that this is a real thing. And no one said anything, right? They didn't say, oh, Lear's lying, or Lear never worked here. They know he worked at Area 51. They never said he was lying about the element. And like 10 years later, that element he talked about appeared on the periodic table, that now this is a real element. I can zoom in on this picture if y'all can't see that. But so every whistleblower is important, not because I believe necessarily what they say is true, but if you are a whistleblower and you have evidence, if you get abducted by the aliens and you stick the stethoscope in your pocket before you get back, and you come back and the public is too dumb to say somebody studied the stethoscope, somebody put it under a lab and see if it's real, then we are dumb as a bag of bricks. These guys and gals worked for NASA. They worked for the CIA. They worked for the FBI. They are familiar with all of this. And they're saying, here is the evidence. You as the public has to demand that they actually prove that these people are wrong. And they haven't done it. They basically said, nope, we're not even gonna, I don't see a stethoscope. Where's the stethoscope? I don't see no stethoscope. That's what they're doing. So every whistleblower is important. All this information is important. Is this picture real? I don't know. But damn it, I pay my taxes. NASA, that's my picture. I want to know if it's real. The 140,000 pictures from the Apollo mission that just magically up and disappeared. I paid for that. Man, I worked hard. You know what my first job was? Damn it, I used to deliver papers. I used to mow people's lawns. I used to rake leaves. Then I cleaned up church. I cleaned up bathrooms at the church. Oh my gosh. Baptist people, y'all, ooh. Y'all need to use the bathroom appropriately. I worked hard and paid my damn taxes, and I paid for those pictures. Where the pictures? And so anyway, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'll post the actual interview. I forgot to mention this brother yesterday. It's Ken Johnstone. You know, he served in the official capacities. He was one of the first whistleblowers that got all the other whistleblowers going. Again, he was the one who made Hogan go crazy. But they delivered all this information to us, and there is something really wrong with us if we actually don't say, prove it. Like we have people who are anti, and they think that we are the only game in town. They think that human beings before us all wore grass skirts and said unga bunga and carried clubs. I personally don't believe that. I believe the ancients were saying the truth. And so the funny part is we don't have to agree that Ken Johnstone or all of these people are telling the truth. All we have to agree is the government that we pay for, the people who are supposed to work for us, who none of them work for us and none of them give a damn about us. Like Ty says, they don't care how you die. Why would you ask them for gun control? These people don't care about you. They're poisoning your water. They're poisoning your food. They're taking big money for it. These people don't give a damn about you. Why would they care how you die? And they certainly don't give a damn about you knowing the truth that prior to us, there was something greater than us. And so, but we all should be able to agree on the truth. We don't have to agree what we believe in. But if we like raise brothers like this up and people who are coming forward and say, listen, prove it's not true. Snowden came forward. What did we do? Prove it. And it was all proven out. WikiLeaks proved it, that he was not lying. He told the truth. But the NASA whistleblowers, they barely ever get on television. No one barely ever talks about it. Why? Because it's crazy. It's crazy to think that there's anything greater than us in the universe. It's crazy to think that we actually were a evolved species prior, and then we just got dumbed down. An asteroid hit, destroyed the human civilization, and we had to start all over. To me, that actually is a lot more plausible than the idea that we are the only greats going. So anyway, Ken Johnstone is an amazing one. You guys should look at it. As soon as I'm about to shut this down now. I got to get ready for a few other things. But I'll be back at 11 with Sister Lonnie to talk about how the hell do we get out of here. I just want to do a follow-up on yesterday's. You can't talk about NASA whistleblowers. You can't talk about lying about what's above us unless you talk about Ken Johnstone. So once again, I'll post the link to the WikiLeaks, not WikiLeaks, to the his actual images so you can see them in detail and you can see what's on the moon that they're hiding. As well as I'll post the link to his rationalwiki.org that talks about who he is, his accreditation, where he's from, what he talked about, as well as it's just a corroborating story, right? Any other naysayer, it's corroborating. All of these people are coming forward and they're all saying the same damn thing. And it's not crazy people. These are professional people. They're agreeing with what the ancients have always said. I think that we are the Zahi Hawass of space, and we are keeping people dumb and in their box. And I think when we actually know the truth of what we actually are, human beings will realize how great we probably are in the universe. And if we know how great we are, people who are great, people who have a sense of pride in themselves, you can't stop somebody like that. When you raise children in the Appalachian Mountains, in the ghettos, and in Yemen and Congo and all these places, and they know I come from greatness. You can't do this to me. They turn around, and you can't make a dependent out of a powerful, empowered, prideful person like that who has a pride in what they are. But if we think we're some monkeys that crawled out of some, now we're 98% monkey, we're not all monkey, we're 98%. But if we just all monkey, we're just all mud in an accident that just magically happened, not magically, unmagically happened. We're just dirt, mud puppies, we're nothing. But if we come from something greater that no one really wants to admit, that the whole creation theory and evolution and all of this stuff is largely true and it all works together, but it means now the scientists don't fight with the religious people. The religious people don't fight with the scientists. They agree. The left and the right realize, damn it, we got much bigger problems than this. Israel and Palestine. And it's not significant to fight over this little plot of land. It's a whole universe that we have access to, that we should be there. But there's a truth embargo that's going on. So anyway, this is a quick one. I just had to do this real quick follow up to yesterday. Appreciate you guys liking and sharing and inviting. You got to go back to the beginning if you want to hear about Ken Johnstone. I didn't mention him. He was one of the biggest NASA whistleblowers. What goes viral is what the mainstream media talks about, and what actually goes viral is what we determine. But we got to stop talking about silly, dumb, it's not dumb. We have to stop talking about things that aren't significant to fixing this planet, fixing the pride on this planet, fixing the truth on this planet. Until we fix that, it's not a debate. We just gave up and the 1%'s taking everything. Anyway, that's Ken Johnstone. This is Gerard. Y'all have a great day. I'll see y'all in about 2 hours. Bye-bye.